Show love, but it be fake. Talking about be covering up that hate. I know how to spot a snake. Tote that drum and bass. Talking about. So you better know your place. Stay inside, cause it ain't safe. I'm outside with the eights. Talking about. Yeah. You hear my words, but got no clue about who I really am. From shark-infested waters, phrases like that make me sound harder and more ruthless. But the truth is that I merely swam out the stolo, semis blam, willy-nilly over kilograms, selling rock like Stilly Dan. While the world spins like whirlwinds, out of control. How does the soul find a thorough cleanse when all of this cold water that flows has for sure been contaminated with sin? Planted in the latest of trends, stranded in this land of the antiquated ways of the men, standing in a state of revenge, seeking a way to defend reputations because the names are actually greater than them. Life is a trip, you can't predict the random way that it ends. Bullets travel straight through the skin like gamma rays in the wind. My greatest of wins came when I annotated my gems. The right so far, I got my hand afraid of my pen. Get the up out my face with what you talking about. I got too much on my plate, and I know you can't relate. They show love, but it be fake. Talking about be covering up that hate. I know how to spot
KBLA Talk 1580. I'm not sure I know how to spot a snake, actually. I have to ponder that. Anyway, 800-920-1580. Whatever you talk about, you can talk about it here. 800-920-1580. That is the number. Let's talk about it, what it is, what is going on nationally, what's going on internationally, and what's on your mind this morning. I'm excited about comedy. I'm excited about... Fahima texted me telling me that people were following my dad's Black Arts movement. I know this. That's why I keep saying that we need a new Black Arts movement. I'm saying that inspired by my own dad, who founded the Black Arts movement in Harlem as a means of using our art for liberation. Using our art for liberation is something I believe in. It's something I was raised with, that all art is political, and that we, as artists, as community activists who love art, and as artists who love community activism, have the opportunity to make change, have the opportunity to help people understand things, to move the crowd, not just for another drink or another booty shake, which is all good. Shake your booty, have some fun, but also towards our own liberation, towards our own progress, towards the bettering of the greater good for all. So that's why I keep saying Black Arts Movement. It doesn't have to be, and she's arguing that people weren't afraid to go to Africa in the 70s. Well, not the people you were around, because you were around all the conscious, liberated, righteous minds. But yes, they were, because they were scared to go to Africa in 2016. And some still are. How many shots do I have to get? Is one of the most common questions. Am I going to get malaria and die? Will there be water to drink? Can I eat the food? People, yes, it's a mindset. Even when I Show Speed went to Africa, what was it, a couple weeks ago? And a lot of young people were commenting now they want to go. They were commenting they've been lied to about what Africa is about. People think there's no cities. It's just kids with flies buzzing around their faces and starving in dusty deserts. And that ain't it. Yeah, there's poor people in Africa. Guess where else there's poor people? Whatever city you're in right now. And particularly many times Black folks. I understand, what you're saying, but I don't agree. I think there's always been a core group of conscious heads who look to Africa for inspiration, who understand that's our motherland, that is whence the DNA of all mankind comes, right? From Africa, from the Nile Valley. That's where all life on this planet started. Period, full stop. Okay, so now the white supremacists are saying, well, we're more evolved. The ones that are even scientific enough to acknowledge that all life started there. Whatever. We know that's not true, but the the job that's been done on our perception of Africa, all things black, and particularly all things African, is quite thorough. The thoroughness of the self-hate campaign that goes back hundreds of years definitely has had an impact. And I know that because I take a group of people to Africa every year. We, along with African Focus Incorporated and KBLA Talk 1580, before that another radio station, we've been doing this for 10 years. And I get the same questions over and over again. And they are fear-based questions. Now, I will tell you that it's gotten better since 2019, because when all the celebrities started going, people thought, oh, well, if they can go, maybe I can go. And I think it's going to get even better now that iShowSpeed is gone. So the next generation, a younger generation of folks thinks, oh, well, maybe it's not what I thought. Maybe I should go check it out. Just like they want to go to every hiking trail and every restaurant that somebody on Instagram or TikTok does a review on and makes it seem delicious. Now Africa seems delicious and people want to go. And that's a good thing because it expands your world, whether you're a freedman, an immigrant, or an alien, doesn't matter. It expands your horizons. You're able to see more different paths forward. It widens the scope of what is possible in your mind, which is what is possible. As a man thinketh, so shall he be. So that's all I'm saying. And it's not too late to go with us. We're still signing folks up for our trip in June to Zambia, which of course is the other side of the Great Mosi-oa-Tunya or Victoria Falls, which is one of the world's 7 wonders. And also Botswana, which is right next door to South Africa. It is where Nelson Mandela and the ANC staged their revolution from when they were fighting against apartheid. They would be based inside Botswana, known for beautiful, untouched nature and brilliant safaris. We'll also go to the big city there in Zambia, the capital city, and so it's going to be a lovely trip. We do a combination of service, shopping and tourism, and cultural learning, meaning tours where you find out about the history of the city and the people and the culture. So it's going to be fun. And you can go to africanfocus.org for more info. Sign up or go to Instagram. My Instagram at Diprima Radio, DIPRIMA, and then radio. I have the flyer pinned there. Of course, we're always inviting you to like, follow, and subscribe, not just to me, but to KBLA 1580 everywhere. We're on all the social media platforms. My favorite right now is Instagram, but we're on YouTube and TikTok and the like. We're at KBLA 1580. I'm there at Diprima Radio. Miles is there at Miles Low Music. And yeah, when you follow us, comment, subscribe, even if you're talking smack, it makes us stronger. So we appreciate you. Okay, so yeah, let's get to it. There's so much to cover. The other thing I'm excited about, that's where I started, my palate cleanser, is being excited and enthusiastic about things, which makes us healthier, stronger, happier, is that tomorrow at the Pan-African Film Festival, 6:45 p.m., Culver Theater, there is a Black Lives Matter grassroots world premiere event. They have a fundraiser every year at the Pan-African Film Festival, and they're normally very well attended, but this one is special. You don't want to miss it. I'm going to be there. I'll be moderating the talk back after the panel. Tavis Smiley will be there. Some other folks. Michael Brown Sr., the father of Michael Brown, who was murdered in Ferguson by cops there. And some other folks that I can't say. It's going to be an event you don't want to miss. That's what I can tell you. I got parameters on what I can and cannot say. But what I can tell you is that I'll be there, and that if you can go to the Culver Theater tomorrow night and support, of course I want you to support the Pan-African Film Festival, over to the mall, see the art, buy some art, go see lots of films at paff.org. But this particular event is something that I have put quite a bit of time into. And it is tomorrow night at 6:45. You can actually get tickets at paff.org, or you can show up and buy a ticket. I don't think it'll sell out. There's an outside chance it could, but I don't think it will. We'll squeeze you in. And I hope to see you there tomorrow night. This is something I'm very, very excited about, and looking forward to seeing you there and talking about it with you on Monday. 800-920-1580, 800-920-1580. I mentioned it before. The FCC is apparently piling on the Bad Bunny investigation after I thought it was canceled. They're going after The View. What does that mean for U.S. press? Meanwhile, the U.S. military is standing ready to strike Iran at any moment, as the talks there do not seem to be going well. And the former prince, known as Andrew, who's now Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor, has been arrested. Oh, yeah, we got a lot to talk about. 800-920-1580. I'm Dominique DePrima for KBLA Talk 1580.
She's reclaiming her time on KBLA Talk 1580. More First Things First with Dominique DePrima when we come forward.
With the new IHOP value menu, $6 is all it takes to go to your happy place, where stacks of pancakes with bacon and eggs are just $6 every day. French toast, sausage, and eggs are, you guessed it, $6. And fluffy omelets come with a side of pancakes and only cost $6. Go to your happy plates every day at IHOP. $7 in some locations. Available every day for a limited time at participating restaurants in the U.S. Hours may vary. No substitutions. Not valid with other discounts or promotions. Prices may vary.
It all comes down to this, folks.
Yep, the entire season is on the line.
But my throat has officially thrown in the towel.
Sounds like you need Vicks VapoCool drops. They're max strength and vaporize sore throat pain.
Whoa! These VapoCool drops hit fast.
Speaking of fast, did you just see that play?
Yeah, he vaporized that ball.
That pun should have come with a penalty.
Vaporize sore throat pain with Vicks VapoCool drops. Use as directed.
It's game day. Are your moderate to severe Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis symptoms keeping you from the action? Skyrizi, risankizumab Riza, could help you get back to the game. Skyrizi is proven to help people feel significant symptom relief, achieve remission, and visibly improve damage of the intestinal lining. Skyrizi is a prescription injection medicine for adults. Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions, increased infections, or lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, get checked for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor about any flu-like symptoms or vaccines. Liver problems leading to hospitalization may occur when treated for Crohn's or ulcerative colitis.
Control is everything to me.
Ask your doctor about Skyrizi, the #1 prescribed biologic in Crohn's and ulcerative colitis combined. Learn more at skyrizi.com or 1-866-SKYRIZI.
The conversation continues right now with Dominique DePrima on First Things First.
Ooh, when your own brother throws you under the bus. Well, good for them. So the former Prince Andrew dude is King Charles III's younger brother. Just for those of you who don't give a rat's behind about royalty and all that stuff they do over there in England. Anyway, he was arrested on suspicion of misconduct in public office. They haven't said exactly why they arrested him, what sparked it, and we believe it is linked to the Epstein Files. But King Charles III put out a statement that he learned with the deepest concern of the arrest of his younger brother and stressed that the law must take its course. Now, that is not what I want to hear my brother the king say when I get arrested. The law must take its course. In other words, we're throwing your chubby behind under the bus. They went to his home. They took his things, and the prince is saying, no, I didn't. He's been denying this all along, the former prince, but now he is facing real criminal accountability here. The lawyer for some of the women who are victims of Epstein say that this is giving it might be restoring some faith for them. They were starting to believe that justice was unreachable, and it's restoring some faith. Now, some of our lawmakers are speaking out, saying that it's good that he's been arrested. Representative Jake Auchincloss, who's out of Massachusetts, says Great Britain is holding its powerful and privileged to account. The United States of America should do the same. I agree. Will we? Probably not. And I think we can kind of tell by the folks that are speaking out, they're probably not in those files. Probably not in those files, which an amazingly large number of folks are. Stephen Lynch, also out of Massachusetts, said that the arrest of the prince offers a great contrast to what we're doing here in the United States, which is nothing. We'll see if that lasts, because I think the American people are, well, at least from what I see on social media, the American people are fed up. Fed up with the rich and powerful doing creepy, terrible things and greedy, immoral things and getting away with it. Ro Khanna, the Congressman Ro Khanna, says that he found moral clarity in the British society's response to Epstein. And we are starting to see more fallout here in the United States, more people in the corporate world stepping down, but zero accountability in political America, United States, unless you count dragging in Hillary and Bill Clinton to talk, which, okay. Speaking of accountability, the former South Korean president has been sentenced to life in prison for imposing martial law in that country briefly in December of 2024. Of course, he'll appeal it. Prosecutors were asking for the death penalty, did not get that. But life in prison, can you imagine? For briefly declaring martial law? Imagine what South Koreans would have done to their president had he, say, encouraged, fomented an attack on the Capitol, the threatening of the life of the vice president, with the goal of wiping out the election results, of stopping the certification of a free and fair election. In other words, if Donald Trump was South Korean, he'd probably be facing life in prison or worse. In this country, what does he get? He gets his job back. And this is America. But it feels like all of these things make accountability more likely, right? The rest of the world making us look stupid, corrupt, lawless, has to put some pressure on somebody somewhere. South Korea hasn't executed anyone since 1997, but they were trying to do it to Yoon, President Yoon, their former president. That's not going to happen, but life in prison? I don't see that ever happening here in the United States. I would settle for, send the man on a long vacation to Mar-a-Lago. Someone on socials was pointing out that Mar-a-Lago is in Espanol. Maybe he should change the name. FCC seems to think so. They are doing a deeper dive, apparently, into the halftime show because they have too much time on their hands. The FCC has requested transcripts of the halftime show performance by Bad Bunny. Of course, it's in Spanish. And they claim they don't understand it, but they also claim that it was profane. We didn't understand it, but we know it was bad. And so even though it had already been cleared based on another complaint, now they want the transcripts. And And one FCC commissioner said she had reviewed those transcripts in Spanish. Her name is Ana Gomez, presumably. She speaks Spanish. She said she found no violation of the rules, no justification for harassing broadcasters over a standard live performance. However, Brendan Carr, the Republican leader of the FCC, is going forward with this. He says multiple Republican politicians have expressed outrage over that performance, which they claim not to understand, even though they claim it's disgusting and illegal. Disgusting pornographic filth. Even though I'm laughing because it's the radio edit. I'm laughing because I understand Spanish. Not all Bad Bunny Spanish, because he kind of got, you know how Black English has a vibe, and it's different than sort of, Ave, African American vernacular English. Bad Bunny has vernacular Spanish. Just like the Cubans, the Puerto Ricans, there's like the African influence is clear in the way they speak Spanish. So sometimes I don't get everything, but I understand Spanish, and clearly was the radio edit. But Andy Ogles from Tennessee says the lyrics openly glorified sodomy and countless other unspeakable depravities. What? No. My auntie says, "Why do you have so many girlfriends?" That's one lyric. No, that's no and no. It's giving the silent film era, the way they used to talk about black people. The depraved Negro is corrupting society. Anyway, that's what they're spending their time on. That's good. But meanwhile, they're also investigating The View. And clearly that has to do with the vendetta tour, right? The revenge of the president. The revenge of Drumpf. Because he's checking boxes one by one by one. Okay, made the Clintons testify, check. Maybe I'll lock her up, check. Who can we bring down? Who can we humiliate? Who can we investigate? James Comey, check. Bad Bunny, check. The View, check. Jimmy Kimmel, almost worked. Stephen Colbert, next. It's obviously the people that the president can't stand. He's complained openly about The View, and now, lo and behold, they're being investigated by the Federal Communications Commission. It would be funny if it wasn't so dangerous. And it gives me pause. I told you that I have decided to be brave. That the bravery or courage, I'm not really sure what the difference is. I think they're synonyms, but whatever. Being unflappable, unbothered, unbossed. I agree with Ida B. Wells, one of my heroes. It's better to go down fighting than die like a dog in a cage. Not doing it. So we're going to keep being unapologetically outspoken, unapologetically progressive, fighting the power, in the words of the great Chuck D, and standing strong, like the way we've seen Georgia Fort out of Minnesota, the way we've seen the young activist Chantel Allen, and others who have been targeted directly by this Department of Justice, labeled terrorists, even though they've harmed no one, killed no one, threatened no one. And that they keep coming. They're not afraid. I am inspired by that. I hope that we are collectively inspired by that, to stay encouraged. It's in our DNA. Resilience, pushback, rebellion against tyranny. It's in our DNA. From long before we were kidnapped, enslaved, and dragged to this beautiful land that we now call home. It's perfect time to call me, 800-920-1580, 800-920-1580. I'm Dominique DePrima for KBLA Talk 1580.
A safe place to go loud. A great place for progressive politics. KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm Bree Wood with BIN News Now. Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson is honoring the late Reverend Jesse Jackson, calling him a friend, mentor, and role model.
As an organizer and at the time in which I was campaigning, I could always count on him for advice, prayers, and words of encouragement.
Johnson told the city council the best way to honor Jackson's legacy is by organizing and investing in Chicago's communities. Funeral arrangements are pending for Dr. Norman Francis, the longtime Xavier University president who died Wednesday at 94. Francis led the nation's only historically black Catholic university for nearly 50 years, expanding its role in medical education. New Orleans Mayor Elena Moreno praised his civil rights work and leadership after Hurricane Katrina. And Kanye West and Travis Scott are reportedly working on a joint album. Mobb Deep's Havoc told Complex he contributed a track, but shared few details in case the project doesn't drop. Get BIN News Now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Hi, I'm Angie. Did you know a billboard can save a baby's life? It's true. You can make a difference by helping us spread the pro-life message to reach those who are struggling with an unplanned pregnancy. Please make a gift today. Visit prolifeacrossamerica.org.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
The NBA is back in action tonight after the All-Star break. The Clippers are at home tonight against Denver. The Lakers return to the court Friday night against the Clippers at Crypto.com. Interesting point of the season for the Clippers. A lot of eyes will be on them to see if they can remain a playoff contender after their 6-21 start. The Clippers were 3-1 going into the break and are 20-7 since December 18th. They're tied with Portland for 9th place in the Western Conference. The top 10 teams qualify for the playoffs. A lot of eyes will also be on Clippers star Kawhi Leonard. Can he stay healthy over the remaining 28 games in the regular season? In the last 7 games before the break, Kawhi was averaging 28.8 points. The UCLA women's basketball team, ranked number 2 in the country, is going for their 20th straight win tonight. UCLA is at home against Washington. The Bruins are 25-1, 15-0 in the Big Ten Conference. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
Hey there, Los Angeles. This is James Lucky Jr., publisher and editor of Los Angeles News Observer. Are you hungry for news that matters to you in the African-American communities of Los Angeles? Well, buckle up, because we got the scoop you've been craving. Stay in the know and never miss a beat with our free weekly publications conveniently available near you. Or hop on the digital wave and become an exclusive subscriber at OGNSC.com. Don't forget to join the party on Instagram and Twitter at OGNSCINC for behind-the-scenes access and sizzling updates. No more FOMO. Let's stay informed, connected, and empowered together.
Are you drowning in IRS tax debt? Angela was. She called Civic Tax Relief and saved over $80,000. Felicia was having health problems, got behind on her taxes, interest and penalties were adding up. She called Civic Tax Relief and saved over $15,000. Civic Tax Relief is a professional tax negotiation firm that can protect you from the IRS. If you're getting collection letters, call Civic Tax Relief for a free consultation. They will go to work helping you discover all the relief programs you may qualify for free. James owed the IRS $37,000. Civic Tax Relief represented him against the IRS, and by the time everything was completed, he did not owe the IRS anything. If you are in trouble with the IRS, call Civic Tax Relief for your free consultation now. 800-200-2257. 800-200-2257. Get a free consultation and real tax relief. Call 800-200-2257. 800-200-2257.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with the world. African Focus Incorporated is a community-based organization whose mission is to bring Africans and African Americans together, lead charitable initiatives on the motherland, and educate people from all walks of life on the beauty, legacy, and opportunity of Africa's 54 nations. And it's that time once again when African Focus is teaming up with KBLA Talk 1580 for our 8th annual African Focus Trailblazers Tour. Travel with us in 2026 when we're headed to the southern African nations of Zambia and Botswana for a historical, cultural, and vacation tour led by me, Dominique DePrima, Cultural Ambassador for African Focus Incorporated. Enjoy luxurious accommodations, conscious fellow travelers, shopping, adventures, cultural cultural tours, wildlife safaris, and a giant waterfall, one of the world's 7 wonders, along with a chance to be of service at an orphanage on the continent. Become an AFI trailblazer by exploring the motherland with a nonprofit organization that has members in Africa and America to help roll out the red carpet for you, and together we'll make a difference and have fun doing it. For more information, visit africanfocus.org or call 310-676-7300. That's 310-676-7300 or africanfocus.org. Whether it's stateside or exploring the diaspora, we're with you every step of the way. African Focus and KBLA Talk 1580. Come go with us.
At KBLA Talk 1580, we do more than just talk.
You got a big mouth.
Hello, Joe, you're up. Welcome. We're unapologetically progressive, and we don't black down.
When I drop the mic, it hit the floor like Thor. That's right. You can't pick it up no more. Don't even try. Y'all know what it is. Y'all know what it was. Y'all know what it shall be. Get smart for the start, before it get dark, before they hit you with the pitchfork. Better crip walk, this is real talk. Smoke, push, ambush, then we peel off. Still rolling with the wheels off. Always looking out for the crisscross. I'm a bigger boss than Rick Ross. Always winning. Get lost. It's the warlord. Bring the voodoo. When I bail through, it's crazy like Bellevue. What they tell you? Leave that boy alone. Like Home Alone. Cause Skull and Bone. Arrest the president. You got the evidence. That is Russian intelligence. When it rains, it pours. Did you know the new white was orange? Boy, you're showing your horns. They trying to replace my halo with thorns. You so basic with your vape stick. Let's go apes in the matrix. Arrest the president. Arrest the president. Arrest the president.
You got the evidence. Well, former Prince Andrew has been arrested. Why not Drumpf? I'm just asking. King Charles III saying he supports a full, fair, and proper process regarding the prosecution of his brother, Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor, formerly Prince Andrew, calling it suspicion of misconduct in public office. And this is, of course, in connection, most likely, with the Epstein Files. They're saying one of the things that came out in those files is that he may have shared confidential information with Epstein while he was a British trade envoy. In other words, he's over there with loose lips sinking ships while he's pedophiling. Huge, huge embarrassment to the monarchy. No matter what the king says, King Charles III can be like, yeah, let's let the law take its course. They are horrified. You know, they were mad when, Meghan Markle wore the wrong nail polish, right? I shall say, the Duchess of Sussex. The very elegant and beautiful Meghan Markle. They were mad at her for everything but being black. But now they got a former prince, the king's brother, arrested for being a pedo and having loose lips. Oh, this is a whole problem. This is what you call a crisis. Watch the crisis PR. Watch the attacks on the Duchess ramp up. They love to throw the Duchess of Sussex, a.k.a. the Princess of Leimert Park, Miss Meghan Markle, and Prince Harry under the bus every time they got problems. Arrest the prince, blame Harry. Arrest the pedo, blame attack Meghan. That's how they do it. I hope she's doing her yoga and eating her Wheaties because they're coming for her right about now. They have got a whole giant problem. And misconduct in public office can come with a life sentence. This is not no little, tickety-tackety slap on the wrist type dealio. We were talking about how the South Korean president just got life in prison, not for the Epstein Files, for a brief imposition of martial law. But it's just interesting. Like Andrew Mountbatten, formerly Prince Pedo, is facing life in prison, possibly. South Korean president, Yoon, also possibly, well, not possibly, is definitely facing life, got away with not having the death penalty. And what is our president, who has, by the way, at least as much, if not more, about him in these files than Epstein, and who has done much more than a brief martial law in fomenting an attack on fellow lawmakers, advocating for the killing of the vice president, and trying to stop the results of an election from being certified. But what is he facing? A new ballroom, to be precise. A second shot at the job, maybe even a third. Do you see those, I don't know how to describe them, because I don't like calling people names. Those people that were, well, I do like it. I'm just trying not to do it. You see, I come by that honest. You know, my daddy, the late great Amir Baraka, boy, he could slice and dice a person with his mind. But anyway, did you see those alleged black people in the White House chanting 4 more years? 4 more years. Now, we don't know if they were paid or if they were being held hostage. You know, they could be AI, they could be clones, but I think they were actual black people. I said, if the sunken place was a press conference, 4 more years, 4 more years. That's what they want to give this man, not jail. I'll take arrest the president. You got the evidence. And I'm really looking forward next hour talking with Dr. Gail Wyatt, the renowned author, sex therapist, psychologist, about how we process all this. I'm feeling triggered, okay? There's no way I'm reading those 3 million pages. Every time I read excerpts or hear people talking about excerpts and look it up, it's like very traumatizing. So how do we deal with this? What does it mean for society? We'll touch on that next hour. And I always love talking with Dr. Wyatt because she makes it plain. She pulls no punches, and she does it in a scholarly manner. Goals, #goals. Be like Dr. Wyatt. Now, the prince, well, he's not the prince anymore. The former prince. His brother is the one who demoted him, by the way. This Mountbatten-Windsor dude, formerly known as Prince Pedo. He's only going to be in jail for 24 hours because under British law, they can only hold you for 24 hours unless they're going to charge you, unless a judge gives them an extension up to 96 hours. So either they're going to charge this dude or let him in and out, and which leads me to believe they're probably going to charge him. I don't think you arrest a whole former prince without being ready to charge. I don't think you do. And the New York Times says they might be investigating whether or not he shared confidential information. It seems like that is the most likely reason. He was a trade envoy for the British government for about 10 years during peak Epstein years from 2001 to 2011. And there is an email from 2010. This is one of the documents that they did release that shows that the former prince, he was a prince at that time, forwarded internal reports about an official trip to Asia, including China, to Epstein. Whoa. We talk about security breaches. They're not saying where he's being held, but they are holding him. And this is serious business. The former prime minister put out a statement saying he's provided additional information about Epstein to the police ahead of Mr. Mountbatten-Windsor's arrest, a 5-page memorandum. And he was the prime minister during this period of time when the pedo prince was a trade envoy. And this is interesting. Megan Specia, writing for the New York Times, says the arrest of the brother of the sitting monarch is a move with no precedent in modern Britain. And it is a crisis for the royal family, regardless of what happens next. They don't know what's going to happen next. This is a huge, huge deal. I'm sure our president is not happy about it because it just heats up this story once again that he says we are all moving on from. And clearly the British are a lot more serious about dealing with the criminality of this massive global sickness, crime ring, really. Let's go to Dwight, calling us from the city of Compton. Good morning, Dwight.
Good morning, Dominique. Good morning, Miles, Tavis, everyone there at KBLA. Thank you for such a great program, giving us facts. I just wanted to say how much of a liar President Trump is. He votes by mail, and then he wants to tax voting by mail, and then Florida has more voting by mail voters than any other state, and they have a Republican governor, Ron DeSantis. So, you know what? Everything coming out of a Republican's mouth from now until the election, when we are able to wipe them out, I hope we won't even listen to it unless they got evidence and facts. Everything Trump says, he has no evidence and no facts. It's just coming out of his lying mouth. I would not believe anything Trump says about anything, Dominique. And please, you go to vote.gov. If you're married, you may have your former husband's last name on your voting registration, and they may ask, they may pull out, not here in California maybe, but all the other states. Please go to vote.gov and make sure your name matches your voting registration, your address is incorrect.
Look, Dwight, I'm one of those people that if this SAVE Act, which, to be clear, should be called the Elon Musk Act, because he has already threatened lawmakers saying, if you don't support the SAVE Act to make it harder for people to vote, I am going to primary you. I'm going to put money into making sure you don't keep your job. Elon Musk has said that to Republican lawmakers. I am one of those people, Dwight, who could lose her right to vote if this thing passes, because when I was married, my name was legally changed. So my name, and it takes a long time to restore it. So my name, my names won't match. What's on the birth certificate won't match what's on the voter roll. This is millions of American women. So it's like taking away women's right to vote.
Yeah, and a lot of kids have moved from their parents' house, and maybe their voter registration is still going to their parents' address. And it's a whole lot of mess going on with these Republicans. And all of these laws they pass, they're only going to enforce them in black neighborhoods and Democratic states. That's like, the laws sound nice. Oh, just bring your ID. And then when they did that before, they closed all the DMV offices in the black neighborhoods down. When they said, go to the DMV and just get a ID for voting. So whenever they come up with this law that sounds good, look for the BS behind it, because anything can sound good. Somebody could give you poison and tell you it's candy, So don't believe anything coming out of a Republican's mouth from now until after, I say, till 26, 28, till we get as many of these people out of office that we can. And they turning over all the Congress just turned over their whole powers to the President Trump, and he's just doing whatever he want to do, and catch me later. I'm going to rob the bank, and then you just come and see if you could catch me or find me. This is just an outlaw. Republicans are nothing but outlaws. All these nice sounding Republicans, we should have both parties. And then they tell you, why are you a Republican? Oh, they talk about Abraham Lincoln. I'm talking about recently. I ain't talking about no Abraham Lincoln was a Republican and all that BS, and the Ku Klux Klan was started by the Democrats. Yeah, because they had crooks move from the Democratic Party over to the Republican Party when Lyndon Johnson signed the Civil Rights Act to protect black voters. That's when all the crooks left the Democrats and went over to the Republicans. So you got to keep aware of times today. Yeah, it used to not be a stoplight on this street, and you used to just fly down the street. Now they got a sign. If the light's red,
Dwight shot out of a cannon today. I'm not mad at you. I'm glad you care. I'm glad you have. But just go ahead and land for me. Yes. I'm not trying to shut you down. I love your energy.
Just go to vote.gov. Make sure your registration is there. Make sure you haven't been purged, because Republican states are known to purge you. So just go to vote.gov. check your registration out, bring some type of ID, maybe even get your birth certificate from your mom or order a new one just for backup. But, Dominique, I love KBLA, and just don't listen to nothing Republicans are saying from now until after we get them out of office. I love KBLA. Thank you, Dominique.
KBLA loves you back, Dwight. We really appreciate you. You are one of our day ones. Dwight called me at 800-920-1580, 800-920-1580. I cordially invite you to do the same. I'm Dominique DePrima, and this is KBLA Talk 1580.
More of First Things First with Dominique DePrima when we come forward.
Getting around LA doesn't have to cost a lot. Metro has fares that fit every budget. 20 free rides for qualified riders through the Life Fare program. Free passes for students with GoPass and affordable options for everyone in between. Wherever you're going, Metro's got you covered. Visit metro.net/fare programs.
We asked seniors how to prevent Medicare scams.
My best advice, if you get a phone call, do not talk to the person. These people are well trained. Don't talk to them.
They don't know me. They're just trying to scam me.
Don't be fooled. Hang up.
Just hang up.
Never give out your Medicare number.
They're going to get your number to put in a false claim.
If I get a call from someone, I don't pick up the phone. And should I pick up the phone and they ask for information, then I hang up.
How do you detect Medicare fraud?
Just like I check my credit card statements, I check my Medicare statements monthly.
Scammers can get a hold of your number, order medical devices through your account, and you're not even going to know about it if you don't look at your statement.
Check your statement every month.
If you get your statement and you see something that you know you did not have done, you report it.
Call your senior Medicare Patrol.
To report Medicare fraud, call the Senior Medicare Patrol at 855-613-7080.
We interrupt our program to bring you this important message.
Hi, I'm Tavish Smiley, and I have some news. The room is full. Our founding members cohort on the art of conversation has begun, and I could not be more energized by the professionals who said yes to mastering the craft. Their dedication to curating great conversations reminds me why I do this work. Now, if you wanted to join us and did not make it in time, I want you to hear this. The next cohort is coming. I do not have the firm dates yet, but I do have a waiting list. And everyone on that list will receive early access and special discounts when enrollment opens. After almost 40 years of interviewing world leaders and cultural icons, I am teaching everything I know. Don't miss your chance to be in the next room. Go to TavishTalks.com and get on the waiting list right now. That's TavishTalks.com. The conversation continues. Will you be part of it?
Yeah, man. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 connecting you with services and solutions. The midterm elections are upon us. It is voting season once again. Common Cause's motto is fighting for the democracy we deserve. In service of that goal, Common Cause puts its state and national policy expertise, massive network of grassroots supporters, and nonpartisan approach into action to strengthen our democracy against the challenges we face today. They work at every level of government on priorities that impact each of our lives, like defending the right to vote, limiting big money's influence on our elections, holding public officials accountable, and more. Common Cause is a nonpartisan grassroots organization dedicated to upholding the core values of American democracy. They seek to empower all people to make their voices heard in the political process. This election may be the most important one ever. If you'd like to make a donation or volunteer in service to the Constitution, please visit commoncause.org. That's commoncause.org. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
We knew you'd stick around. This is LA's home for progressive talk radio. Be heard. Welcome back to KBLA Talk 1580.
Miles, I'm going to try to sneak into that Tavis Smiley class. I didn't realize he's going to teach everything he knows. Like, I need that. Everything he knows, I definitely need that. That's going to be amazing. So the family of Virginia Giuffre, the woman who said she was trafficked to Prince Andrew, which I absolutely believe. And she's the woman seen in the picture, the child seen in the picture with him groping her waist when she was a teenager. She gave thanks to the British police. Her family, she died allegedly by suicide. So many suicides around this Epstein situation. Anyway, she wrote a book. Before she allegedly took her own life. And her family thanked the British police. She said, "At last today, our broken hearts have been lifted at the news that no one is above the law, not even royalty." That's a statement from her siblings, obviously not her, Miss Jeffrey, who is no longer with us. "On behalf of our sister, we extend our gratitude to the UK's Thames Valley Police for their investigation and the arrest of Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor. He was never a prince. For survivors everywhere, Virginia did this for you." And, that gave me chills. This is, not to say that the British are not just as predatory and terrible as the United States, as colonizers and all of those things. But in this moment in history, they are holding some of the powerful accountable, something which we have not seen here in the United States on the government level. We're seeing it a little teeny bit in the corporate world. And it's not just the arrest of the former prince, the king's brother. There's an investigation going on into a former ambassador to the United States. The prime minister fired his chief of staff and his communications director. Epstein Files. Members of parliament are talking about this, and this is much more aggressive than what we've seen in the U.S., and I'm happy for that. I think we're seeing that in other nations as well, and that's a good thing because it creates more pressure. They took away it was the Crown themselves who took away former Prince Andrew's titles last year, and I feel like that was PR, crisis control. Miles, you wanted to jump in?
I have a question. I'm just curious. Does the Crown royal family, does that hold any political weight or shot calling weight, or is there actual government and system that's going to do the processing and that calls for these arrests and stuff like that?
Theoretically, the Crown, the royal family is not political.
Okay.
It's kind of bull, but theoretically they're not. I mean, they're some of the richest people in the world. They still get money from so-called commonwealths and colonies. They have all the stolen riches of Africa, and they still own a lot of land.
They're not going to be the judge, jury, and executioner.
No, they will not. Now, will the king weigh in behind the scenes? Will the Crown exert pressure? Absolutely, they will, because they're trying to save their image and their future. That's why they took away the guy's titles. That's why they're trying to distance themselves. That's why they just took away his mansion and they moved him to a smaller mansion. But officially, no. Officially, they're just a cultural institution that is, kind of a huge waste of taxpayer money. Yeah. They meet, the Queen and now the King meets with the Prime Minister and they talk about things, but they're not supposed to make political statements.
Smells fishy.
It's hella fishy. And also not true. And we know from the attacks on the Duchess of Sussex and Prince Harry that the royal family manipulates the British press. That's come out when Prince Harry has sued, the way that they drop tidbits on this and that, and they feed salacious stories to the press to cover up their own wrongdoing. And by feeding raw meat to the press in Europe, in England, they keep them on a short leash because those folks are so hungry for those scraps of news and gossip that they won't turn on the royal family because they'll lose access.
It's just like how it was a big deal back in '97 when Princess Diana passed, how they control that narrative.
And they're still controlling it.
Still controlling it.
Even though her popularity made it impossible to totally control it, and then her son went ahead and married a black woman and made a run for the border. But they did everything they could, and there are still many folks who believe that Princess Diana was set up and taken out by the royal family. So, of course, we have no proof of that, but we certainly have proof that they do everything to control the narrative, control the press, and protect their riches, which are completely unjustifiable. We're talking what I call the Epstein triggers. Dr. Gail Wyatt is with us. That's next after news, traffic, and sports on KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Bree Wood with BIN News Now. Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson is honoring the late Reverend Jesse Jackson, calling him a friend, mentor, and role model.
As an organizer, and at the time in which I was campaigning, I could always count on him for advice, prayers, and words of encouragement.
Johnson told the city council the best way to honor Jackson's legacy is by organizing and investing in Chicago's communities. Funeral arrangements are pending for Dr. Norman Francis, the longtime Xavier University president who died Wednesday at 94. Francis led the nation's only historically black Catholic university for nearly 50 years, expanding its role in medical education. New Orleans Mayor Elena Moreno praised his civil rights work